On a picturesque autumn Sunday in Spokane, destiny hangs in the balance. The 14th-ranked Santa Clara Broncos visit a Gonzaga Bulldogs team receiving votes in the latest poll, and a win from either side would mean destiny is squarely in that program's hands in the race for the WCC title. Quick look at the standings will actually show Pepperdine atop that heap, but they have played an extra game. Gonzaga and Santa Clara must keep pace, but only one will be able to do just that. Happy to have you along this afternoon with the former Penn State midfielder Anna Whitty. I'm Joe Malfa. Anna, this Santa Clara team has been the standard bearer in this conference for so long, but Gonzaga's been making a lot of noise as of late. You're going to see two very different styles of play out on the field today.
Two extremely different styles of play, and whichever side can implement their style will get the result. Santa Clara wants to play high tempo with the ball at their feet. They believe that's the best way to score. For Gonzaga, it's all about being out in transition. Their front four have a collective of 29 goals this season, showing how good they've been in the attacking third this season. One big piece for Gonzaga in the attacking third is Maddie Kemp. She's dropped more into a 10 role this season, showing that she can still score from range. An excellent shot with 9 goals. Watch for Kemp and her ball movement today to be extremely important for Gonzaga to get on the board.
And Kemp will be matched up all day long with Sally Menti, who's the driving force of the Santa Clara midfield.
Sally Menti is the quarterback of the Santa Clara midfielder. She is all about playmaking. Whenever Menti gets the ball, it opens up so many opportunities for players all over the pitch. With 7 assists here today, if Menti has the ball at her feet, watch for her making those right passes to get Santa Clara up the field in progression.
Gonzaga has not beaten Santa Clara since 2007. Does that streak end today, or will the Broncos continue their dominance over the Bulldogs? It's Gonzaga and Santa Clara with destiny on the line coming up next. Again with Coach Watkins' Gonzaga side.
Kelsey Euler starting in that left back position, presses really high, so watch for her to be providing assists to Riley and Alexander. Porter Werner will be holding down the fort, giving Chelsea Lee in that 6 role the ability to control the midfield. Sally Menti will play in that 6 role as well for Santa Clara. Hinkleman on the left back, she'll get forward as well as the opportunity for Nezu and Carriage to hold down that fort centrally for the Broncos.
It'll be Gonzaga in the red from left to right, Santa Clara in the black from right to left. The WCC title perhaps on the line with just 3 games to go in the regular season, and we're underway here from Spokane. Happy to have you with us today with Anna Whitty. I'm Joe Malfa. Two very different styles of play you'll see today. Santa Clara, slow it down, keep the ball. Gonzaga, high press, force turnovers, get out in transition. Always makes for an interesting affair. We have such different styles out on the field. It's Coulter, the left side for Gonzaga. That left side is where they like to attack. That's where you'll find Kelsey Euler, who leads the team with 12 assists on the year. So much of it because of her ability to dribble and break lines. Trying to get it out there any chance they get. The Bulldogs, for now it's Orozco looking wide for Barnett. That'll be a Broncos throw.
Gonzaga making Santa Clara have to speed up their style of play. Santa Clara is winning the ball in good areas, but they're making that pass a little too quickly, and that's a lot of kudos to this back line of the Zags.
There is Kelsey Euler, junior from Meridian, Ohio. All WCC honorable mention last year, all freshman team the year before. Free kick on the way for the Broncos. And Coach Watkins believes that Euler could become the first All-American in Gonzaga's history.
Euler, a player for the Zags who gets so forward. She is able to create opportunities for Gonzaga in the attack, rather because of her ability not only to get forward but also to drop back and get into 1v1 situations defensively well.
Carrick tried looking through for Baston, recovered by Menti. This is where she's most dangerous, pulling the strings from a deep lying roll. Henkelman, the German, floats it, loose in the box, it comes all the way through, and a handball spotted by the assistant referee. There's your first look at what Menti can do when she has time and space in the midfield.
Menti knew that the option was open to find Henkelman on the left side so quickly. Great switching of the point of attack for Menti in that midfield role. Just a little too forward. Getting forward is Barnett finding that handball inside the box, but really good start for the Broncos.
Here is Henkelman, just her second start of the season now in back-to-back games. Works it to the end line, and it was just over that line. Sophomore made 8 appearances with 2 starts last year. Henkelman played for VfL Wolfsburg in Germany at the club level, won 2 German U17 championships before she made her way to Santa Clara. This was last off of a Gonzaga deflection. Henkelman didn't seem to think so. She was trying to save that ball and serve it in, but it'll be a corner for the visitors. In swinger toward the far post, touched away by Lauren Town. Will do it again from the far side. Lauren Town, a goalkeeper who has waited patiently for an opportunity to start here for the Zags. Just 10 minutes as a freshman, 140 minutes as a sophomore. Did not play at all as a junior, and now is making her 16th start here as a senior. Menti set for the outswinger. Look at the spread from Santa Clara. The body will start converging. Middle of the box, it falls through for a moment there for Baston. In the arms of Town.
Town, a big piece of this back line for Gonzaga. Coach Watkins has mentioned how consistent his back line has been. Town has been a big piece of that with her ability to get up, her communication with her back line, and having that good partnership with Corder and Warner as the 2 center backs for the Zags.
There's Lauren Chin. Orozco. Back for Mitchell. It's a really strong partnership with Mitchell and Menti. They complement each other so well. It's in for Barnett. Wide for the Broncos. Cycled back in toward Walters. This is good pressure from Santa Clara. Bourgeois. Knocked away by Werner. Zaga hoping to alleviate some of the pressure, but it's right back to Menti. Free kick coming for Santa Clara. And look at the tail of the tape here between these 2 teams coming in, both at the top of the WCC. 2 very potent attacks.
Gonzaga, a team who has been able to get so many points this season, 49 goals for the Zags, shows how electric they have been on the offense. To start off this match against the Broncos, they know they have to drop off so many numbers because the Broncos are so creative in the final third. That's where we've seen the Zags be successful, is they're breaking down the passes in and around the 18 Santa Clara is trying to create.
Menti delivers again. A lot of early set pieces here for Santa Clara. Be careful if you're Gonzaga, especially with Menti pulling the strings. And another corner on the way. This will already be the 3rd. Player down, though, in the 6th for Gonzaga.
Menti with her 3rd corner kick of the day. Watch as this ball comes inside. A lot of numbers are coming to that ball. It was well defended by Gonzaga. Not able to clear this one completely, and a little bit of a collision right inside the 6.
Signal was just made over to the bench for a sub here. Grace Corder down, being helped off the field now for Gonzaga, holding her face in her hands. Started every game this year. That center back grew into a regular starter last year. Only a few appearances off the bench as a freshman. Started 14 last year, started 15 this year.
In for the Zags, number 60, Taylor Gentry.
Coder has been a consistent player on the back line for Gonzaga this season. Her ability just to read the game as a junior and really help her fellow freshman center back. So if Coder cannot play the rest of the match, that's a big loss just because of how well she reads the game and how well she can break down the Broncos' attack.
Taylor Gentry takes her spot. Another corner for Santa Clara. Gentry, the sophomore, has only played 10 games this year, 250 minutes, none of those starts. Taken short and quick. Barnett, and not on the same page as Menti. Sent out over the head of Riley. Jenna Riley giving chase here, and it's all the way back to Marlene Nicholas. First time referencing the goalkeeper of Santa Clara. Far off her line to help start this attack. And it's right back down the other end. One-way pressure so far here. Barnett. And another free kick on the way for Santa Clara.
This is now where the Broncos have to be able to create better opportunities inside the box now that they've had 5 set pieces to start off this match. Watch as this ball gets wide. Barnett's done a great job on the left side, isolating herself, but that cross has to be off a step quicker just to give them that opportunity.
Between wide free kicks and corners, this is already 8th attempt at a service here for Menti. Drives it near post, and it's a squandered moment. Menti has been so crucial to this midfield for Santa Clara, part of the title-winning team back in that spring 2021 season. And Anna, we talked to Coach Jerry Smith this week. It's a scary thought, but Menti's not even 100% right now. She's at about 75% of her capacity, coming back from a torn ACL she suffered with the United States just 2 days before the U20 World Cup began over a year ago. Cost her all of last season. The only thing that's still missing is her full fitness, full ability to pressure the ball, but she's back to herself on the ball with her 7 assists this year.
Coach Smith said they spent the last few years really turning Menti into that playmaker for Santa Clara. And even with her being at 75%, she's able to quarterback that midfield so well. Dropping Lucy Mitchell into the midfield, playing a little bit closer to Sally Menti, gives Menti the freedom to kind of be a little bit more one-dimensional and create opportunities, allowing Lucy Mitchell to get out and chase the ball.
Space in this midfield. Kemp.
You see Mitchell right now. She's the one putting the pressure on the back line and through the midfield of this Gonzaga defense and midfield. She's been doing all the work of a true 8 for the Santa Clara midfield.
Here's Walters. 11 goals on the season. Farrah Walters leading the way for Santa Clara. Slipped in by Orozco. Some contact there, waved off by the referee, but the ball's still loose. And now Town has it.
That's a fair call from the Santa Clara players to want that foul inside the box. A lot of contact as the forward got on the attack, and Gonzaga gets really lucky off of that one.
Falls in nicely from Oltre. Not on the same page though as Garcia. Slipped it through a bit too early and out for a goal kick.
Santa Clara with a lot of opportunities, but a ton of numbers that follow them. Orozco decides to just continue to pass that ball off as Mitchell's finding herself. Watch as she goes down because of the contact of 2 Gonzaga players. Really unlucky from Santa Clara, but they have to continue to put those numbers inside the box and pressuring because of how much Gonzaga is dropping off their numbers defensively.
Referee in a tough spot there too. That first step into the box from Mitchell looked like she stumbled over the ball a bit and was losing her balance. Tough spot to see if she went down because of her own momentum or because of that contact from Kemp. There was certainly contact, but is that why she went down? Already into a stumble. Chelsea Lee. Haven't been able to string many passes together so far, Gonzaga. Play on, says the referee. Letting them go early here. Physical start. Letting them play through, setting the tone for this game early. It's going to be a battle. Orozco. And that one is called, and it sets up nicely here for the Broncos.
Chin just putting her body into the back of Orozco a little too quickly. Orozco receives the ball, and instead of Chin just slowing her feet to slow down Orozco, it was way too much pressure. Watch, as soon as Orozco receives this ball, Chin just goes for the player instead of the ball. A clear and obvious foul just outside the 18 for Santa Clara.
Down, sets up the wall. Menti standing over it. Certainly within range for a strike. Sally Menti got under it too much.
The right idea from Menti. She has such a powerful shot, and she's so good with her accuracy. Typically, why not continue to try and give yourself that confidence because of how much Gonzaga is giving them those set pieces in and around the 18.
Well, nearly 15 minutes into this game, Jerry Smith, coach of Santa Clara, said the first 15 minutes would give you an indication of how this game was going to go. Typically, teams might be stubborn and stuck in their ways if things aren't going well, but this is a very important game, too important of a game, he said, to be stuck in their ways, where if you didn't feel like things were going well, you might make a few subs already at the 15-minute mark. Getting close to that 15-minute mark, Anna, I don't think he's going to change a thing. They have been on the front foot the entirety of this match so far.
No reason for Santa Clara to change anything, especially on the back line, which is what Coach Smith was really referring to. Keeping Nezu and Carrick on that back line, getting those consistent minutes as center backs.
Very candid in that regard. How often will you see that? All the games you've done together, Anna, and just watching this sport, coach has a style and their personnel, they want to stick to it, and eventually they hope it'll shine through. But he said, no, too important of a game, possibly the WCC title on the line, at least destiny for that title on the line. You cannot be stuck in your ways, have to adjust if need be, but no adjustments needed right now. On the Santa Clara side, maybe from the Gonzaga side, the way the early pressure territory and control this game has gone.
One of the big pieces that Coach Watkins wanted his team to be able to do in the first 10 minutes was to get Maddie Kemp on the ball and allow her to create for the attack of the Zags. Kemp has not seen the ball at her feet and been able to drive at the goal at all in this match. So that's a big piece that Gonzaga has to work on, is once they do receive the ball, putting the ball on the ground and getting Kemp involved in the build-up.
Mitchell looking for Walters. Haven't found her feet yet in or around the 18. Menti leaves it. Carrick. Walters. Wide for Henkelman, not afraid to get high as the left back. Walters. Barnett. Forced wide, cuts it back. Barnett didn't curl enough.
Good idea from Barnett. There's that time and space that she gets in front of her to take that shot from range. Just wasn't able to get enough power behind her right foot because of how she set it up. Watch as Barnett continues to play with the ball. She sees the spaces to her right. Instead of pushing that ball forward, she keeps it a little square in front of her body and can't get the power to strike it well.
Physical challenge there, but a clean one with the shoulder. Menti wins it. And again, Menti. There's maybe a little bit of her defensive work coming back. That's what has been missing. She's working up toward 100%. They think that she'll be 100% if they make a run in the tournament. It's based on her progression plan and fully coming back from the torn ACL. It's one thing to step back on the field and to play. It's another thing to get back to exactly where you were pre-injury. Their sort of internal timeline is second week of November. They feel that's where she'll be fully ramped up to 100%. And do the math, that means you're going on a little bit of a run in the tournament if you're getting to that point.
Menti has now played in her 17th game of the season, and her ability just continue to go and be a threat. But today for Menti, it's about also working on the defensive side of her game and working up to be able to be more of an 8, because of whenever Gonzaga's attack gets the ball, that's where they'll be the biggest threat against the Broncos today.
Chin intercepted by Henkelman.
Now the Broncos can take their time. No players from Gonzaga is stepping high and putting on a lot of pressure, which Gonzaga typically likes to do. So if you're Santa Clara, hold on to the ball, be patient with your progression, and continue to move it to make Gonzaga have to chase.
Here's Kemp with some space. That's who the Bulldogs want on the ball. Feeds it through, finds Riley. And the offside flag comes up on Gianna Riley. Now, Tuesday night we'll have the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Reese and the guys will break them down top to bottom, have coaches' reactions, as well as live interview with committee chairman Boo Corrigan, the NC State athletic director. That's at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app.
Much better from Gonzaga to get the ball in the attack, just a few steps off for Riley, but it's so quick from Kemp trying to feed her forwards. That's where Gonzaga is going to get their opportunities, is quick in transition.
Transitional moment now over the top here for Santa Clara. It's Barnett cutting in on her left foot, blocked. Gentry got in the way of it. Shay's back to Bourgeois. Slowly but surely, it feels like Gonzaga's finding a footing in this game. It was one-way traffic the first dozen or so minutes.
Now Gonzaga has realized that when they do win the ball, they don't have to be so quick to boot it up the field. They have time and space, especially through the midfield against Santa Clara, to build. And that's what's going to be the key against Gonzaga, is being a little bit more patient on the ball than they typically are.
Enkelman ahead to Walters. Now Walters gets to the end line and earns another corner. She's a special player, Farrah Walters, and in the eyes of Coach Smith, the only thing she was missing last year as a freshman was availability. She wasn't ever really 100%. There was always a little knock here, a little knock there. She learned between freshman and sophomore year how to take care of her body a bit better, and now she's out there, hasn't really missed a beat this year. That's really the only reason in his eyes why she's gone from 5 to 11 goals, just simply being at 100% the whole way and a chance to get comfortable.
Walters has become more comfortable in the system as well at Santa Clara. She's used to the players around her, and she's used to the coaching staff and what Coach Smith wants from her. That's allowed her to be even more successful this season for Santa Clara.
Mente's corner, second time in a row, and she has gone into the wrong side of that near post netting.
Really uncharacteristic for Minty, not able to get those balls on top of the six. There's always that short option for Santa Clara. Next time, just trying that short option and seeing how they can get an opportunity through that.
Kayla Werner, intercepted by Menti. Already seeing that combo of Menti and Mitchell covering so much ground in the midfield. Coach Smith thinks it's the perfect pairing because Lucy Mitchell can run for days, and as Menti's getting back up to 100%, it allows her to, I don't want to say shirk some of her defensive responsibilities because she's not intentionally not doing them, but they're giving her a pass where she can escape some of them because Mitchell is there to pick up the slack and allow Menti to focus on pulling the strings offensively from the middle.
In this game, it's okay for the Broncos to allow Minty to sit back and really quarterback this match because the Broncos have had the majority of possession. If Mitchell can be that player who continues to chase but finds herself in good positions defensively and in the attack, Minty can sit in that role and continue to provide for her team.
That's wide for Bastone. End line, turns the corner, has options in front looking for Orozco. Euler comes away with it. Euler wasn't 100% coming into this game. There was a question as to whether or not she'd be able to go and for how long. There is so much open space in the middle third of this field. Barnett for Walters. Farrell Walters, and away by Werner.
A lot of space on the left-hand side of the field for Santa Clara as well. Continue to drag out Chin and find that option in behind her to get numbers up inside the box.
Barnett cuts it back. Colby Barnett serves it. They're into safety. Feels like Santa Clara is the first to every loose ball right now. That is uncharacteristic of a Gonzaga team that prides itself not only on its ability to excel in transition, but to win a lot of those 50-50s that lead to all those transitional moments. They're just not there right now.
Euler is the only player who's really stepping off this back line for Gonzaga and playing with confidence. this Zags side looks a little bit shy to get stuck into certain tackles and really dominate their style. That has to change for the Zags if they want to continue to get the ball up the field and not be playing so much defense in this first half.
Here's Kemp. That's Garcia. Off the shoulder to Riley. Gianna Riley has 9 goals on the season. 6 assists to her name as well. Riley back for Chin, floated toward the back post. Flicked away by Nizu.
Much better from the Zags to get the ball in the attacking third, be quicker to get the ball out wide, and then get an opportunity inside the box. The ball on the ground is going to give Gonzaga more opportunities if they can continue to build inside the 18 and get numbers in there as well.
Henkelman, Walters. Walters had just 5 goals, 4 assists last year. 11 goals, 2 assists this year. She was all freshman team last year, so with the U20 national team for the U.S. Now it's slipped through, taken down in the 18, and it's cleanly won in the eyes of the official. So we've seen one near penalty shout both ways, both go unanswered.
Even on both sides of the field, Joe. And it was a great run from Gonzaga and a great opportunity from Kemp with that ball just beaming in behind. It's a quick transition game from the Zags, and they're not stopping that, which is good against a Broncos team who defensively isn't as structured as Gonzaga is when the Zags are out in transition.
They're okay without that structure defensively, Santa Clara, because Coach Smith believes their possession is their best line of defense. He pointed to their track record against North Carolina, who he regards as the top program still in the country. It met 8 times over the last while, tournament play, whatnot, some non-conference games scheduled here and there. Those last 8 times, Santa Clara and UNC have met. 6 times Santa Clara has won. 4 of those games have been clean sheets. And he says that's his model as to how he likes to shut down any potent attack. Just keep the ball, plain and simple. Sometimes easier said than done. Sometimes you'll have a team who also likes to get on the ball, and you have to impose your will. But his first line of defense, if you will, is the possession. And we're seeing that today.
Possession is extremely important for this Broncos side. However, when the Zags get the ball out in transition, the 2 center backs for Santa Clara aren't consistent center backs. They're players who have dropped back from a midfield position. They're not as used to that defensive role that a center back has to have. So if Gonzaga can isolate those 2 players, find them in 1v1 situations, that's where they'll have their opportunities out in transition when the Broncos don't have the ball.
Averaging nearly 19 shots per game. Gonzaga over 3 goals per game. Here we are, nearly 25 minutes into this game, and they've yet to record their first shot of the match. From Barnett, tried the quick throw through, but finds Mitchell. Back for Orozco. Eileen Orozco goes for a goal. It's like the 3rd or 4th time now, and Michaela Werner has stood strong near the penalty spot and just headed the shot away. Barnett has been active down this left side early on. Barnett to the end line, drives it in front. A cheeky little flick attempt from Orozco. It's well off target.
The Broncos continue to do all the things correct. They're keeping the ball driven, low on the ground, creating opportunities from themselves, using the left side of the field where Barnett has been open all game long. It's Gonzaga dropping so many numbers back defensively, creating these overloads that the Broncos can't break through. So one extra pass will find the Broncos a little more free inside the 18.
See some of our first changes now of the match.
And for the Zags, number 31, Amelia Huerta.
Amelia Huerta comes on, and it'll be Isabel Moultrie leaving. Given away. Pounds two by Barnett. Has Walters to her left, Orozco to her right. It's sent goalward now, and no trouble for Town. Quick throw out to Kemp.
Kemp is dropping way far back into a more defensive role because that's the only way that she's been able to receive the ball. Gonzaga cannot get the ball over the halfway line. So Kemp dropping back and then trying to find that quick outlet to Riley has been the big cues for Gonzaga here tonight. Slowly but surely, Santa Clara is figuring that out and getting numbers on Kemp right away.
Walters, Mitchell. Mizu stepping up from the back line with Carrick. Carrick over the top. Plenty of space for Henkelman. Henkelman's delivery. Denied by Mitchell. Charging in, Mitchell again, just back and forth. Now finally, Gonzaga gets it clear again. Feels like every time, though, that it's sent from the back line to the midfield, it's a black jersey that's there to get it.
Carrick has been so consistent, just being that first number to step to the ball and then playing out through that. Carrick's also splitting lines and finding opportunities to get the Broncos out in transition as quickly as they can.
Henkelman. Gets around Kemp, still Henkelman. Henkelman just gives them such a different dynamic up that left side again, just making her second start of the season, fourth appearance overall.
Henkelman can get forward because Gonzaga is not giving too many threats on the defensive side of the field for Santa Clara. So if Henkelman continues to provide overloads for Santa Clara, they'll get more opportunities down that left side of the field. Henkelman's also a player who's so good getting back in transition, getting next to Riley whenever Kemp receives the ball. Not too much of a threat for Gonzaga trying to find Henkelman out of position.
Long from Chin. Riley brings it down. Tomorrow night, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and the Monday Night Football crew will be in Detroit. The 5-2 NFC North leading Lions host a Monday Night Football game for the first time since 2018 when they take on Devontae Adams and the Raiders, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Euler.
Minty just slowing down the pace of this match, knowing that her team is not necessarily in the positions that they want to be, passing the ball back, not forcing anything.
Just over 15 minutes remaining now in this first half, still without a shot. A Gonzaga team that, again, averages nearly 19 per game. Have to imagine Jerry Smith is happy with what he's seen, A, defensively, and B, in the possession for the Broncos, which both go hand in hand in his eyes. Now space for Orozco. For all they've done at one end, can they make it count at the other? Santa Clara. Barnett. Sending Warta left and right, back to her right. Barnett. Mitchell. Mitchell drives in. All the way back for Nizu. Menti.
Coach Smith has to be extremely happy with the possession from his side. However, the set pieces and the 4 corner kicks from his side haven't resulted in much, and that's the piece that has to improve, is being more efficient in the final third.
Henkelman going for goal. Town will play it with her feet. That'll be the 7th shot of the match there for Santa Clara. Only one of those on target, and none are all too threatening.
It's great build-ups from the Santa
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments.
But that was a great look from the Gonzaga midfielder.
Barnett goes for goal. Barnett off the bar. Rebound comes out to Baston. Cut back from Mitchell. Taken away by Kemp. Menti. Free kick for the Broncos. Barnett narrowly missed the opening goal.
Barnett in a great position to rip that shot as well. Didn't get her chest enough over top of the ball to find that one over top of the goalkeeper. Watch as Barnett, she has really owned the left side of the field, but instead of continuing to go forward, she sees that open space in front of the 18, sets herself up by pushing the ball in front of her, just doesn't get over top of the ball enough to dip that one inside underneath the goalkeeper. It's great looks from the Santa Clara side and getting really good opportunities. Now Barnett seeing that the open space isn't inside the 6 for her anymore, it's just outside the area.
Second team all WCC last year and all West region as well. Short off the free kick. Mitchell. Menti. Henkelman. Good movement here from Santa Clara. Henkelman drives it toward the far post. They've held strong, Gonzaga, on anything sent into the 18 in the air. Whether it was Porter before she left injured, Gentry subbing in, Werner. It's been a rock the whole time. They've all been first two in the air.
Also at 21, Caitlin Grigg. And
Trio of changes now for the Bulldogs. Shelby Runge, Caitlin Rigg, and Kaya Lee all out there. Stone, rather bourgeois, pardon me, finds Mitchell. Lucy Mitchell lines it up, and it's saved by Town. Might have taken a deflection on the way through. It was an awkward hop right before the 6. Kept it out.
In for Santa Clara, number 7, Addie Whitehouse. Number 9, Jordan Crosby. Number 10, Holly Furphy.
3 changes now on the other side
11,
for Santa Clara.
Number
Furphy,
21,
Farrell Walters. Also Addie Whitehouse out there. Jordan Crosby.
Santa Clara getting different players on the pitch in these final 10 minutes or so just to continue to find different players if they have different looks on goals, but also fresh legs in the attack, because it's been all Santa Clara in the attack for the first 40 minutes, really rather 35 minutes of this match.
Yeah! Hey! Pass the ball to the Italians. We win those.
Foul against Crosby, just came into the match.
Break someone's clavicle. Go for the jugular. Pass the ball to the Italian. Good call, Rev. Good call. That purple looks good on you. I promise. I like
Right idea for Gonzaga not to just kick that ball up the pitch, but play it short and create opportunities through an opportunity through Kent.
Now Runji. The first quarter of the match now for Gonzaga. Under 10 to play. Half really hasn't gotten their way, but if they can steal something, it changes the complexion of everything right before halftime.
Runji, a player who is so good at connecting passes, but being consistent in the final third, receiving that ball, noticing that open space, and creating a quick set piece for the Zags.
Off the face of Crosby, still loose. Running through, kept alive, but with the handball by Leah O'Brien.
O'Brien just trying to run through that ball, finding an opportunity in transition for Santa Clara. This is where Gonzaga can put the ball on the ground and play a little bit. They're a team that's been able to possess in matches this season. This is the first game where Gonzaga really hasn't been able to keep the ball at their feet and play a little bit more within that style.
Good delivery, loose in front. The net was open after Nicholas committed to it. Bailed out by her back line. Physical play here from Warta.
Warta stepping up, trying to keep the ball in the attacking third of the field, not allowing Mitchell on the ball, not allowing some of these Santa Clara players to get on the ball again to create possession. This is where Gonzaga really has to now step and create a high press against the Santa Clara back line to keep the ball where it is.
Carrick drives it long. 5 changes in all so far from Santa Clara. And 5 changes in all so far from Gonzaga these final 10 minutes of the first half. Trying to get some fresh legs out there. Trying to find different avenues through for a Gonzaga team that has just 1 shot. Again, averaging nearly 19 per game on the season. It's 9 shots, 2 on target so far on the Santa Clara side. And a crossbar hit as well by Colby Barnett. Our next ESPN NHL matchup is on Halloween. Anjay Kopitar and the Kings will be in Toronto starting a 4-game road trip against Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We promise all treats, no tricks, unless they're hat tricks.
Halloween's next Tuesday, Joe. You mentioned the no tricks, all treats. You got any good costumes up your sleeves?
You know, this year, I got to sit it out. I'm a little busy. I have to become a married man in a couple of weeks, so I'm sitting Halloween out this year.
Yes, congratulations. I hear ya. That's a lot. Planning a wedding, Halloween, it's just too much. Too many costumes.
Too much going on. I hope you got something cooking, though.
I do not, unfortunately. Busy, too.
Well, they've got something cooking here, Gonzaga. Oilers sends it in. She wanted a foul call at the end of that. They didn't quite get it. Hit from distance here by Warta. Venom behind that strike. Didn't quite make it through. Just over 6 to go now in this half. Still zeros on the scoreboard. It's felt like Santa Clara has been the better of the 2 sides, but here we are still scoreless, and Gonzaga all of a sudden, as this half has worn on, starting to find some more alleyways through, finding a couple of services in that have troubled Marley Nicholas. Another one through here. Nicholas off her line, takes out the player. Is it a penalty or a free kick? Or nothing? It's a penalty. Referee was waiting and thinking about it. Maybe he was trying to decipher whether or not it was in the 18 or out. He decides it was in, and a penalty on the way for the Bulldogs. Completely against the run of play.
Rigg, with so much speed, cuts off her center back to create that opportunity for Gonzaga. It was a great run by Rigg to get inside the area. Watches this ball by Euler, gets played inside. Rigg notices that if she takes a touch past the goalkeeper, there is no opportunity for Carrick to slow her down. And that tackle from the goalkeeper gets a little too much of Rigg, creating that PK. All it takes is just 1 second and one play to really turn a game.
Chelsea Lee, a chance to put the Bulldogs on top, off the post and in! Gonzaga leads against Santa Clara.
Lee so patient with that opportunity to hit the crossbar and find the back of the net. The goalkeeper didn't even step. Nicholas didn't even pick a side. Lee so patient, using her Epson step and keeping it low driven on the ground. Here's that tackle from Nicholas that created the opportunity for Lee to take this PK, driving it low, keeping it low, not allowing Nicholas to make a move on this one. Lee has so much composure, playing as a quarterback within this Bulldog system and giving the Bulldogs the lead here before the half.
Second goal of the season for Chelsea Lee, the senior from right here in Spokane. Gonzaga has not beaten Santa Clara since 2007. It's their only win over Santa Clara in their program history. 30th meeting all time today. It's 25 Santa Clara wins. It's 3 draws. It's 1 Gonzaga win. But now the history is on the side of Gonzaga if they can get through these next few minutes. They're 10-0-0 when scoring first. They're 10-0-0 when leading at half. And ever since Chris Watkins took the reins of this team, now in his 7th season, they are 52-2 under his guidance when leading at halftime.
Watkins has taught his team to be extremely patient throughout a match. Gonzaga knew that they'd come into this game. Santa Clara would really try and set the tempo, and they were able to do that early, but it's the patience of the back line of Gonzaga which has allowed them to get that opportunity out in transition for Rigg to draw that foul inside the box. All the small, smart things that this attack of Gonzaga will do and change the match in the blink of an eye.
There were a couple, remember, penalty shouts earlier in this game, one each way. Both went uncalled. They were 50-50 borderline. There was no doubt about this last one. The question was only whether or not it was in the 18, and it was. Gonzaga takes the lead because of it. These teams played to a 0-0 draw last year. It's the first time in a while that it was something other than a Santa Clara victory. Willow Collins. Caitlin Rigg, who drew the penalty. Plays it inside. Warta over to Euler. Euler trying to get past Crosby. The pressure from Euler. Almost win it back.
Euler being able to step really high because she trusts her back line, being able to shift over and provide that support as she steps on Crosby. Euler is such a good player, sees the game well. She can track back when she needs to. That's what's allowed Gonzaga to have those opportunities in the attack because they trust Euler getting higher and providing those chances, whether it's on defense or those crosses inside the box.
They hold on to this. Chris Watkins has to be a happy man in the locker room. He spent the last week of training after some time off early in the week for the group, much needed rest. Spent the rest of the week working on their defensive transition, and they typically spend more of their time on the attacking transition. That's their identity, but they knew this week they'd have to be more stout defensively in transition. The way that Santa Clara controls the ball as Emily Todd comes on here for Paige Alexander. And so far, whenever Santa Clara has won the ball in the midfield, they've had to go through a strong back line of 4 that has moved together and stepped together and just been completely in lockstep for Gonzaga.
not entertained.
Not only has Gonzaga been so consistent when they've been on the defensive side of the pitch, but Grace Quarter came out of the match really early, and it's been that key player all season long for Gonzaga to be able to be so consistent. Without her in minutes, opportunities to create for themselves, but being so strong and getting stuck in has really changed the match for them here in the first half.
Nizu. Out wide for Whitehouse. Whitehouse earns a corner. Maybe one last opportunity here in this half to level things for Santa Clara.
Whitehouse, seeing the space, has been open on the left side of the pitch all game long. Not that initial pass coming in, but Whitehouse just continues her run and gets her defender in a position where she has to track back and make a last-minute play. And watch as Whitehouse wants to take this cross inside. If she just cut that one back in, there would have been an opportunity and more numbers running inside the box.
Under a minute to play now from the corner, loose in front, still pinballing around. Can Gonzaga get it clear? Yes, they can. Only as far as Mitchell. Arms again for Mitchell. Play on, says the referee. This is where Gonzaga can be lethal. Euler leading the charge, closing seconds of this half. Euler touches it around into space, but too far. Countdown begins, give it away. Euler, 5 seconds to go. Can she get the service? Euler to the back post, and it's snagged by Nicholas. A thrilling end to the half that finishes 1-0 to the home side.
Those last few seconds tells you everything you need to know about this Bulldog side. They will play until the clock strikes 0 to continue to press and go out and transition. Santa Clara really held on to the first 30 minutes of this match, but give it up for Gonzaga being really consistent and patient and quick in transition to give Lee that opportunity to put them up by 1 before going into half.
Chelsea Lee's second of the year on the penalty. It has Gonzaga on top of Santa Clara. The Bulldogs have not beaten the Broncos in 16 years. The WCC title may very well be on the line today. It's the Bulldogs on top of the Broncos. More to come from Spokane. Still plenty of fall colors on the trees, but quickly turning to winter on a 36-degree day here in Spokane. But the Bulldogs up 1-0 on Santa Clara. Not the first game we've seen this weekend already in the WCC. A look at some scores that are already in the books.
Pepperdine with a big match against San Diego on Friday, putting them at the top of the WCC for now. They are neck and neck with Gonzaga and Santa Clara. As for Pacific and LMU, this is the second conference win for Pacific this season. LMU hasn't been able to get a result in conference play. Portland in that 4th position in the standings gets the result against San Francisco. Portland still has to face the Santa Clara side this season in WCC conference play.
Some big upcoming matchups around the conference as well, heading into these final few dates of play. November 1st, then November 4th, the final 2 dates of play. And on the 1st, you have Gonzaga out there again against LMU, Santa Clara against San Diego, Pepperdine against San Francisco. Those are the 3 we're watching, Anna, here in that race for the top.
Pepperdine playing against San Francisco. Pepperdine wants to be in that 1, 2, 3 position, and they can still really fight out against San Francisco. A San Diego match will be one going to get the result if they want this conference again.
If they want to win this conference again, they've got to find a way maybe in this second half. Otherwise, Gonzaga has the inside track. The Bulldogs up 1 on the Broncos, hoping to snap a 16-year winless drought against Santa Clara. Coming into the day, both Santa Clara and Gonzaga technically control destiny for the WCC title. Right now, the destiny would lie on the side of Gonzaga if they can hold on through the next 45. Second half is on the way. There are freshmen on this campus who were 2 years old the last time Gonzaga beat Santa Clara, but they're 45 minutes away from snapping that drought, courtesy of the goal by Chelsea Lee from the penalty spot. Happy to welcome you back in with former Penn State midfielder Anna Whitty. I'm Joe Malfa. And Anna, this whole half really felt like it was going Santa Clara's way until it wasn't, and that one moment was there at the end for Gonzaga.
Santa Clara had the opportunity really early in this match to put it away. They created 7 shots early in this match, and all it took for Gonzaga was to get out in transition and be quick with their forwards, creating opportunities in around the box.
Take a look at highlights from that first half there. That penalty that went their way then late in the half, but all the early chances belonged to Santa Clara.
Santa Clara created so many opportunities, especially down the left-hand side of the field, but it was Huerta who created the chances and started opening up the shooting for Gonzaga in the middle of the pitch. The left side of the pitch for Santa Clara was so open. It was Barnett getting out wide. It was players like Hinkleman creating opportunities to get touchline, but there weren't many numbers in and around the areas that could create chances that were difficult against this Gonzaga team who dropped all of their numbers defensively. For Gonzaga, they were patient. All they needed was that one chance to find Rigg out in transition in front of her center backs who could not get into position on time. Lee put this one away with minutes remaining in the first half. A lot goes to this Bulldog side, just being so patient and consistent on the defensive side of things, and then to do what they needed to do on the offensive side of things going into the locker room.
Since Coach Watkins took this team over 7 years ago, they are 52-2 with a halftime lead. Can they make it 51? Gonzaga up 1, half number 2 on the way. Everyone is locked in for half number 2. Gonzaga trying to snap its drought against Santa Clara and maybe for the first time win the WCC. It's all in their grasp now if they can just hold on. A 1-0 lead after the first 45. Happy to welcome you back in with Anna Whitty. I'm Joe Malfa, set now for action in half number 2. Santa Clara in the black from left to right. Gonzaga in the red from right to left. And Anna, you can expect Santa Clara to come out firing here in this second half. All numbers forward, down a goal, and again, possibly the WCC title hanging in the balance. Here we go.
Santa Clara has to be quick in transition and quick to get the ball and keep it in the attacking third here in the second half. The details in being extremely efficient in and around the 18 have to improve here in the second half if they want to tie it up and then look for a win in this match.
Looking out wide for Orozco. See maybe if there are any changes made by Jerry Smith to the tactic, to the point of attack as Orozco cuts in. Now Barnett. Starters are back out there for Santa Clara. We talked about it a bit in the first half, and that Coach Smith is not going to sit idly by if things aren't going his way and try to just stick to his guns tactically. And in terms of the personnel, he's not afraid to shake it up, especially in what he perceives as a must-win game in this conference, because it is, even though it's not mathematically one right now, it sort of is if you start forecasting and looking ahead. I wonder if he pushes any buttons early or if he stays the course.
Coach Smith made some changes, especially to his back line in the first half, getting outside backs, different looks and different numbers involved. And that's one thing that this Santa Clara side has been really good in their past games, is being good at changing things on the fly. A team that wants to win their 4th straight WCC title has to be able to do that.
Here's Orozco, cuts it back. Orozco saved off the line. Some help from the defender, Werner. It was beyond the hand of Town.
Pick six to the house.
Now back the other way. Carried ahead by Euler. There's some traffic. Euler. Awkward collision from behind. Play on. Goes in strong again. Barnett gets by. Another opportunity to get stuck in. Gonzaga's never going to shy away from those. Talk to Coach Watkins. He says 50% of their practice is spent on offensive transition. The other 50% is 50-50 balls and getting stuck in. So, I don't know. I would probably shy away from those Gonzaga practices if it were me. But they're always going at it 110%, getting stuck in even on the practice field.
Completely agree with you on that sentiment as well, but you see it from Euler. She is that leader down the left flank, getting the players up in transition. As soon as they lose the ball, there's so many numbers clogging the middle of the field. Santa Clara came into this match, knew just that, knowing they'd have to be physical.
Trying to get that goal back, but it's sliced wide by Farrah Walters. Really didn't call the name of Sally Menti much, Anna. After about the 30-minute mark in this game, that's when it seemed like Gonzaga found a way to neutralize Menti in the midfield, and that's big because we spent plenty of time at the top of the broadcast talking about it for good reason. They go as Menti goes, and they didn't really get her on the ball much in that final 10 to 15 minutes of the first half.
Minty is a player for Santa Clara who's going to sit more in pockets than be a player who's going to defend and step up and drop off. Gonzaga recognized that and made Lucy Mitchell be the 6 in the first half. She's been the one who's getting back defensively, but also having to create opportunities for her attack. Minty's the best playmaker on the field, so when you take out Minty and make Mitchell do that job, it creates less good chances for this Broncos side. Even though Gonzaga is a team who wants to get out quick in transition, they're still a team who knows how to possess the ball and be patient. There are no Broncos players stepping to the back line of Gonzaga. No reason to kick the ball over the top and go out in transition because that's where all the Santa Clara numbers are. You have the lead, hold on to the ball, switch the point of attack, and create an opportunity for there to be a good outlet to look for a better opportunity.
Move to get through and find some space by Lee. The speed through. Walters. Crowd is into every single challenge put in by a Bulldog.
Grace Quarter back on the field. She's been that leader on the back line all season long for Gonzaga. Now that she's back, she takes off a little bit of pressure from Werner, being that consistent vocal leader on the back line. Gonzaga's been able to drop off so many numbers, but still be consistent in the final third. There's also that added bit of patience and making sure you're aware of when you can step or when you can drop off.
Bourgeois wins a corner. We saw about 4 or 5 of these in the first 10 minutes for Santa Clara, and then the lights sort of went out in that regard. Early one here, just 5 minutes into the second half.
Garcia getting back defensively and shutting down that opportunity. Now 6 corner kicks from Santa Clara. Minty's been that one who's taking them. However, they have to be much more efficient, taking care of the details to make sure there's a number inside the box who can convert it.
Menti goes short. Barnett is possessed, ball stays in.
Even though the short corner didn't turn into a good opportunity for Santa Clara, it's much better to play the short corner for the Broncos because then you draw the Gonzaga defense out of the box and that creates more numbers up inside the area for Santa Clara.
Barnett taken down just outside the 18, free kick coming for the Broncos. It's not going to be an easy road in here for Gonzaga. They're about to face 38 minutes and change of just wave after wave of attack from the Broncos.
Kemp isn't playing as a 10 anymore. She's really playing as an 8, dropping all the way back defensively to stop that opportunity. Watch as Kemp, she gets dispossessed by Barnett, rather another Santa Clara attacker, and then she just gets the heel of Barnett. No need to win that ball because there's a defender in front of Barnett trying to slow her down. Kemp gets the back heel and creates an opportunity in a good area.
Menti, the typical service provider, but is Barnett thinking about a shot here with her left foot? It is Barnett going for goal, but seen the whole way by Town. She was cheating a little bit there, Town. Just toward her near post, almost expecting that shot. Barnett went for it anyway, but Town all over it.
You could see it in Barnett's body language. She wanted that shot, that opportunity. Menti standing up a little bit taller and not looking to play that ball inside. Town has been so consistent in goal for Gonzaga here today. However, Santa Clara hasn't really challenged her. That shot from Barnett wasn't much of a threat coming in.
Hello, motherboard. Oh, chest.
Euler back pass. Roscoe almost got onto it.
Ah, CTE.
Bourgeois gets it in. Possession you can anticipate is going to be very one-sided the remainder of this game in favor of Santa Clara, but can Gonzaga find that moment on the counter in transition to find the insurance? Riley curls it too far wide.
Good idea by Riley to beat not only one center back, but two, and see that open space in front of her, taking a beautiful touch to set herself up for that shot. Riley in a good spot just outside the 18, not able to convert it. Headed into this match, Coach Smith mentioned how Nezu and Carrick are really not center backs. They've played in that position as former midfielders, so the defensive side of things aren't what they're the most comfortable with. You see that in that attack by Riley to really chop up Nezu and Carrick on the back line.
Into Mitchell, back to Menti. WCC has been a multi-bid league in the NCAA tournament for 20 of the last 23 seasons. Had 3 teams in it last year. You can never be certain. You always want that auto bid by winning the conference. Walters plays it through. Orozco touched around the post by Town. Might have been slicing wide anyway, but she took no chances.
Roscoe in a good position, finding herself off of every single Gonzaga defender. That open pocket space allows her to continue her run. It's a good shot low and a great save by Town to see that one out. Roscoe just holding the line. Watches no Gonzaga defender step to her. She's so patient. She's not running around. She makes herself a little bit invisible. That initial touch, if it was cut inside a little bit more, would have been able to take out Quarter and get a better opportunity on frame.
Swinger coming from Barnett. Colby Barnett drops it center of the 6, loose in front. Snapped away by Werner, cleared further away by Kemp. Alive by Mitchell. Her ball out wide is one she'd like to have back. And tomorrow night, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and the Monday Night Football crew will be in Detroit, where the 5-2 NFC North leading Lions, yes, you heard that right, host a Monday night game for the first time since 2018. And they take on Devontae Adams and the Raiders, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes.
Lions maybe remind you of Gonzaga in a few ways, really turning things around, coming to the top of their conference. It's impressive for both teams this season.
See, that's why you're a pro. It's been a while since the Lions were good in the NFL. Not to say that Gonzaga hasn't been good in a while. They've been terrific these last 7 years under Coach Watkins, who in his time as the head coach has more double-digit win seasons than they had in the entirety of their history before he got here. And now they're on the precipice, perhaps, of winning a first WCC title. The road ahead here for Gonzaga after this one is a home game against Loyola Marymount, and then to end the season at Pepperdine, who currently sit in first place. It's there for the taking.
That's what's so important for this Gonzaga side, is the consistency all the way through the final season. This is an opportunity for Gonzaga to clinch a WCC championship and really be so electric. This side has been so good on the attacking side of the pitch all season long. Now they have 50 goals in their year. It just shows how they have such a high ceiling with players who are comfortable in those positions.
Slipped inside to Barnett on her preferred left foot. Barnett lays it off. Walters looking through. Look how many red jerseys are in the box anytime Santa Clara is trying to send it that way. There's no room to maneuver inside the 18 right now for the Broncos. Menti, they find a different way to unlock the Zags. Menti turned aside.
9 players dropped back defensively, now 10 for Gonzaga. There are so many numbers, yet one that they're looking for out in transition is Riley if they do win the ball. Broncos have to continue to move off the ball. It's one pass and then find yourself in an area that a Bulldogs player isn't.
Gonzaga, only one NCAA tournament berth, came in 2005 as an at-large bid. Again, never WCC champs in the Bulldogs' history. This one floated in, finds an open player, but it's over the bar. A sliding effort in the end by Carrick, the center back, drifting forward, but could not keep it down.
Santa Clara having to push more numbers into the attack because of how many numbers Gonzaga is dropping off. Watch as Carrick, she find herself so empty inside the 18 because Gonzaga doesn't recognize that she's making that run inside. That ball is perfectly placed, but Carrick just gets one awkward touch with her laces instead of using her instep.
Here's Kemp.
In the first half, Gonzaga was playing a game where they were still dropping numbers back defensively. Now they don't need the numbers going forward since they have the point.
Giveaway out of the back from Euler. Orozco floats it toward the back post. Town has it. Driven long over the top, hoping for Paige Alexander, but into the arms of Nicholas. Bourgeois. Wide again for Bourgeois. Senior from Maynard, Massachusetts, transferred here after 1 year at Boston University. He's been a regular now for the Broncos. Barnett centers it. Riley nods it away, but not far enough. Orozco's shot. Shout for handball, waved off. Arms might have been tight to the chest. It certainly looked like it hit the hand, but they might have been tight on the chest.
This ball gets played inside by Barnett. It's initially cleared, and it's a header from Kemp. Watch as this ball gets hit by Orozco, and because the arms are touch tight to the defender, that's no handball. Good call by the referee.
And a good step out of the back to win this one. Ranging ahead, taken down, Euler. That'll be a yellow card.
It's a great tactical play by Minty, recognizing Euler has the speed and the pace to get out with the ball at her feet, knowing if you don't slow Euler in the middle of the field, finding her in a 2v1 situation with her center backs is a difficult spot to be in. Minty finds herself just a few steps out past Euler and takes that drag down. Well done by Minty. Not getting dangerous, not doing anything that can injure the player, but watch as she pulls her down. She doesn't allow Euler to get going.
Michaela Werner, pardon me, Grace Quarters back out there now. Goes short with it. Walters stands it up. Walters gets it wide for Barnett. And pounding the ground is Barnett, holding her left leg. And raise an apology by Marissa Garcia. Doesn't make it hurt any less than it does as Barnett's down.
Garcia has been playing a lot of defense against Barnett here, especially in the second half. Barnett has the speed and the ability to get out quickly. Garcia recognizes that and wants to slow Barnett in the space where they can win the ball and go out in transition. Barnett just holding that right lower leg as watches this ball comes inside. Euler slows down the play initially. Garcia just comes flying and gets the right leg of Barnett.
Knee on knee it looked like there, and especially when it's mid-30s temperature-wise, that's not going to feel good. Chelsea Lee's goal, 40th minute from the spot, still holding up right now for Gonzaga, looking for their first win over Santa Clara since 2007. Ever since then, 14 meetings, 12 Santa Clara wins, 2 draws. It's been one-sided.
Gonzaga, a team who's really stepped things up in the attacking third this season, and that's why they've been able to not only have so much success in the conference, but also nationally. Chelsea Lee is a big piece of that. She's a 6, she's consistent, she holds down the fort by providing balls out wide, getting opportunities to get her forwards going, and she's not selfish with the ball, which allows Gonzaga to have that success through the midfield.
Walters carried. It's a long for Baston. Baston plays it in behind for Bourgeois. And it's blocked by Garcia. She's on that top line of 3 for Gonzaga, but now with this lead, tasked with doing a lot of the dirty work defensively down this wing.
Garcia, great player. She's had 8 goals and 4 assists this season for Gonzaga, but has recognized that's not where they need her anymore. They need her in that attacking side of the field, slowing down Barnett, getting forward. It's been working for Garcia. She's not been able to stay in the attacking third, but that's been a role and something Gonzaga's been working on all season long, is kind of being a part of the team as a whole, combining and creating opportunities for other people. It's an extremely selfish role for Garcia to be playing in the last 30 minutes or so.
Junior from California. You mentioned 8 goals this season. She was all WCC honorable mention last year. 5 goals, 4 the year before that. She's been a steady producer. This one scooped through, looking for Walters, and the volley is skied. Come down in the box for Orozco. Not before quarter, heads it away, blasted back in, but sliced wide in the end by Menti. Starting to maybe sense that the frustrations are there for Santa Clara. They're not finding any easy avenues through into the 18. Gonzaga condensing things really well. Some more tries from distance, some more direct play, straying from some of the possession we're used to seeing from them here, Anna, and that methodical build. It's maybe a sign of a team, again, growing frustrated with the score. They're not finding any easy ways through.
Santa Clara using their back line as well to get more opportunities, and Carrick, a typical midfielder playing as a center back, has been stepping up and creating opportunities for Minty to push up the field as well. So not only is this Santa Clara side changing up the style that they're playing, being a little bit more direct, but the way that they're playing their formation is changing as well. Coach Smith is a side who's not married to any formation, so it's typical for the Santa Clara side to be able to change things up when it's necessary.
Not only is he not married to any formation, he's not really a big fan of positions. He says if you hear him from the sideline yelling, "You're playing your position," that's a bad thing. He doesn't want you confined into what your position is. He wants you free-flowing, finding the space, exploiting that space. So if you hear him say from the field mic, "Stop playing your position," you didn't hear it wrong. He just doesn't want them to feel like they're boxed into whatever their role, quote-unquote, is.
The formation and the roles that Coach Smith doesn't want them to play in gives this Santa Clara side a lot more freedom to roam. Barnett starting on the right side, drifting to the left side, feeling the opportunities for herself in the other area has allowed them to have success this year.
Riley back to goal. That insurance goal would feel so sweet for Gonzaga. Help them breathe a bit easier. Euler, Lee. Just come on for Kemp. Kyle Lee. She is again. Lee, Warta. Amelia Warta back for Kaya Lee. Pressured from behind by Orozco. Lee slips it through. Alexander to the end line, and it's too long for a goal kick. Might have gotten an offside actually ahead of that.
It's Runji holding the line for Gonzaga and allowing that open space for Garcia to be available. However, Gonzaga had been really pushed to that right side of the field and really forced it to Garcia. Gonzaga just playing instead what you see in front of you and allowing the game to develop from there.
Orta. Into space. It's there for Garcia. Nice cutback from Garcia, but left it a little bit too long. This is starting to resemble the first half, Anna, where the longer it went, the less you started to see Santa Clara on the ball, the more you started to see Gonzaga find their footing and find ways forward.
Rigg, the player who created the PK goal for Lee in the first half. Now Gonzaga's really starting to change their forwards and numbers who can get out in transition here in the second half. That's what Gonzaga wants to do, is win the ball and get out quickly. Taking Riley off the field gives fresh legs to Rigg.
Quarter. Euler. Euler to the end line on that left foot. Good ball toward the back post, but it started to drift toward Nicholas.
Didgeridoo! Why is she holding the ball so long?
Now Gonzaga is stepping more numbers higher when Santa Clara has the ball. That's opening up the space in the middle of the field. And Gonzaga has a lot of gap between their midfield and their back line. That's what Santa Clara has to recognize in transition.
Centered from Walters. It's the open player and Mitchell. Contact and play on. How many of those close calls have we seen now, Anna? It's the dicey game you play when you're a team as physical as Gonzaga is, but clean, and the referee was right there.
Way too many of those close calls in this match, but that was an extremely clean play against Mitchell. She got her body in front of Mitchell to win the ball inside the box. Gonzaga showing that they've learned so much about being smart when it comes to getting stuck in on tackles.
Chin. 16 shots to 4 in favor of Santa Clara. 5 on target to just 2. Chin. Taken back by Menti. Menti. This is again, Anna, where it's a little bit different right now for Santa Clara. First half or no game, maybe you don't see that ball forced forward like that and given away by Menti. Typically composed, typically patient. And a foul called against Runji here.
Santa Clara has to be out in transition a little bit more. That's where they're getting their opportunities now in the second half. If you're going to possess the ball, there has to be a lot of purpose. Santa Clara hasn't been able to create a lot of purpose and opportunities in around the area. So changing up that style against this Gonzaga team who's dropped so many numbers back, the opportunities are catching Gonzaga on their heels, not trying to beat them with little tight balls and passes in and around the area.
I like your hair. I like your hair. I like the way
Barnett.
I like the way
She has switched sides a couple of times in this game. More on that in a second. She lays it off here. Try from distance at the near post. Is stopped by Town again. Might have been going wide, but she was all over it.
wide receiver one.
Mitchell has been all over this match. She's been stepping. She's been winning balls as an 8. Now there's been more opportunities for Mitchell to get forward. And that's where we're going to see Mitchell continue to either take those shots from outside the area or continue to press.
Garcia. Runji and offside again to Shelby Runji. Our next ESPN NHL matchup is on Halloween. Anje Kopitar and the Kings will be in Toronto, starting a 4-game road trip against Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We promise again, all treats, no tricks. Euler just went down with Gonzaga in possession. Whistle blows. And again, you hope she's okay. Talked about it early, Anna, that she had a bit of a knock coming into this game. They weren't 100% as to whether she'd go, how much she could give, what she could do. She has been out there for the entirety of this game so far.
Euler, a player who allows Gonzaga to attack from the outside back position. She does it so well. Not only does she have that pace with the ball, but she has the pace without the ball. So without Euler, Gonzaga doesn't have that big transition player from the back line.
Chance here for both sides to catch their breath. Some words from their coaches. If you're Jerry Smith, what are you changing here, and what are you which button are you trying to press for Santa Clara to find a way back in, as again, Oilers still laid out on the ground. 12 assists on the season, leading the way for Gonzaga. But if you're Coach Smith and you're starting to see the sand slip through the hourglass a bit more quickly than you'd like, you're still down a goal.
Coach Smith has to have his team go out the left side of the field. They have really dominated the right side of the field against Gonzaga, and it hasn't worked or created opportunities for themselves. So the left side of the field has been open for Santa Clara to try and pursue in transition. That has to be the biggest change with 20 minutes to go.
Signal made there by the trainer for a sub, but we'll see how quickly Oiler wants to get back on. It seems like there's a purposeful walk there to the bench, and it might not be long before we see her back at the halfway line, but the signal for a sub was made.
Oiler continuing to get that attention, and Oilers a piece in the attack, but you also don't want to lose her defensively, because in those 1v1 moments, she provides so much for the Bulldogs. She gets stuck in. Barnett has really been able to come into her own for Santa Clara, but hasn't been able to get that final piece in and around the area because of what Oiler's been able to do.
In talking about Oiler, Coach Watkins was quick to point out how good she is, of course, in the 1v1 with the ball at her feet. But to your point there, it's lost on some people how good she is defensively. It's why she's in with the U21s for the U.S. and getting those sniffs around for the next couple of camps. It's why he thinks she could be the first ever All-American that Gonzaga has had. So they will miss her, and she's unable to continue here, not because of finding an insurance goal, which she does at the offensive end, trying to just shield this one-goal lead.
Able to change so much around. They've gotten more experience in the attack. And what Coach Watkins really gave to his side, gave credit to his side, is because they've been able to get experience. Oilers been able to get extremely involved down the left side of the field, and that's what allowed them to be in this game against Santa Clara. You also look at what Gonzaga has been able to do to look to potentially get their first WCC conference win. It's a team who has just been consistent throughout the season and really trusting the players on the pitch, the changes they've had to make, but also just the whole 90 minutes of a match.
Three changes now for Santa Clara. Crosby comes back on. So see now Leah Yamamoto for the first time in this game, as well as Bella Panaccioni. Roscoe came off for Crosby.
Under the bar in which the man forced his eye out.
Trouble there at the back for Carrick, but plays out of it. Left it short though. Almost gave it away. $18 to play. Santa Clara seeking a fourth consecutive WCC title this year. They lose this game, they're 3 points back of both Pepperdine and Gonzaga with only 2 games to go. Cutting through Barnett, she goes down, and again it's play on.
Coach Smith
Talking
making
about
those
it a
changes
bit a while ago with Barnett, how they've taken her left and right. She's played plenty of times in this game, been deployed rather, I should say, on the left side to get the service in, and they've had her drift to the right so she could cut in and shoot on that left foot. She's just anywhere that they want her right now, but still frustrated by all these numbers back from Gonzaga.
Walters has been taken out of this game by Gonzaga as well. It's been the Barnett show, Orozco getting involved as well, but how Santa Clara has to be able to get Walters involved on the left-hand side and change things up. It's been extremely predictable down the left.
Good direction, our way. Good direction. Defensive roll.
Engelman And here is Barnett, drifting back over toward that left side. She was just on the right. Mitchell tried the turn. Lee got to it, and again.
Barnett's not really drifting to the left. She's really just finding her opportunities in the middle of the field, and then she'll slide into the area. It's been rather it's down the middle or toward the right. Santa Clara is really keeping their eye focused on this one area of the pitch instead of allowing the other area of the pitch to open up and go 1v1 against Gonzaga.
Looking to steal this one, but Nicholas read it well the whole way. Came off her line to clear.
Great step by Nicholas, knowing that her center backs needed help in that situation, cleared it into a non-dangerous area.
Again, it was a run in behind from Caitlin Rigg. A similar run like that is what led to the penalty in the first half that Chelsea Lee converted in the 40th minute. Still the only goal of the day.
It's a nice top to our teammate Kyle Lee. Kyle Lee with some fancy moves.
Runji. Lee steps up. Chelsea Lee, one goal already, looking for another one. It comes out for Rigg. Her blast on goal is saved by Nicholas. Full stretch to keep it a one-goal game.
Great idea from Rigg to take that one touch. Just kept it low and driven hard. That's what's made Gonzaga so dangerous and crucial in those areas to get those opportunities, is because they don't play around. They see the chance and they're really good at taking that strike and being deadly with it.
Lee. That's about 3 or 4 times she's put in a challenge like that and deflected the ball since she subbed into this match for Maddie Kemp. Too overzealous this time from Gonzaga. Chelsea Lee on the foul. Two sisters out there together right now for the Bulldogs. Here again is Barnett. Wants to get it to her left foot. She does. Barnett, it opens up, but the shot's blocked. Still loose. Poor clearance, the shot saved by Town. Farrell Walters. Well, everybody else seemed to stop and look at the referee for maybe a handball. She kept it going and had the chance.
Walters sees that ball drop in the middle of the area, watches Barnett. She takes that touch. Rather, it's Barnett who sets it up, but Walters coming from the right side of the area, Town in the right position at the right time consistently as that one goes down the middle of the goal. Santa Clara is setting up everything correctly for themselves. It's just that final detail that they have not been able to convert.
Minutes to play at Luger Field here in Spokane. With Anna Whitty, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have had you along this Sunday afternoon. Gonzaga up 1-0 on the penalty goal by Chelsea Lee. That came 40 minutes into the match. It could be their first win over Santa Clara since October 25th, 2007. It was 4 days ago. It would have been 16 years to the day. Played a 0-0 draw last year, these two teams. And destiny was technically in both of their hands.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library.
And She looks fresh now. Euler. Plenty of space, waiting for support. Sees the ball in behind for Riley. Not enough on it.
Center ball, center ball, center ball.
Runji goes for goal. Touched over the bar by Nicholas. Oh, that's two terrific saves in the last few minutes to keep it a one-goal game.
Runji not able to be stopped in a 1v1 moment out wide. Watch as this ball goes to Runji. It's not cleared all the way, and Runji sees the opportunity to cut it inside. It puts her in a perfect position to be square up against the goal.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments.
You can hear Smith on the sideline telling his team to get forward. Now Santa Clara knows they have about 10 minutes left in this match. In order to get a point, they have to step on Gonzaga's back line whenever they have the ball.
Free kick on the way for Santa Clara. Tuesday night we'll have the exclusive reveal of the first college football playoff top 25 rankings of the season. Recently, the guys will break it down top to bottom, coaches' reactions, as well as live interviews with the committee chairman, Boo Corrigan, as the NC State athletic director at 70.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest...
An at-large bid in the tournament.
Coach Smith showing and even saying himself, he's hard on his teams. He wants them to be excellent and to always excel. And in these college seasons, they can be so long. So whichever side can be consistent throughout the entire fall season shows that they can really find themselves in a good position. And that's what he expects out of his side. He's so critical in such small areas, but that's what allowed Santa Clara to be so successful in the last 36 years, now 37 years that Coach Smith has been in charge of the Santa Clara side.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments.
Side.
Not only has it been Santa Clara having to be consistent and finish out this game, but you mentioned the back line and even the midfield. Sally Minty only playing at 75% of what she's best at this season shows that the quarterback of the team isn't at her full strength. So it's going to take a collective for Santa Clara to be able to come out on top, find themselves a WCC championship, find themselves an opportunity in the NCAA tournament.
And it's Euler again. She came off, they worked on her. She came back out, gave it.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports.
8th corner kick for Santa Clara. This is where they have to take care of the details and these types of set pieces that can put these type of games away.
Menti to the back post. Town secures it. Well done by the goalkeeper. They don't want to leave it to chance again, Gonzaga, with the possibility of an at-large bid. They were heartbroken last year. Final day of the season, they beat Portland to finish in 3rd in the WCC, which turned out to be a 3-bid conference, but it was Portland in 4th place, who had just lost to Gonzaga the day prior, who heard their names called on selection day. So they don't want to leave it to chance again. They had their heart shattered last year. They want to just win the WCC title, get the auto bid, and move on from there. It'll be their first WCC title. It'll be their 2nd trip to the NCAA tournament in program history, their first since '05. And if they get this first win since '07 against Santa Clara, they might be on their way. They'll host Loyola Marymount on November 1st. They'll visit Pepperdine a week from now, next Saturday, November the 4th, at Pepperdine, who currently sit in 1st place. It's possible that game is for the WCC title, a de facto championship game of sorts. Walters. Carrick. Launched out to Bourgeois. Willow Collins cuts it off. 4 to play. Yamamoto. Orozco. Eileen Orozco goes down. Play on. She has had a really good year for her school, for her country. Part of the Mexico U20 side that beat the U.S. in the CONCACAF U20 Championship Final earlier this year.
Orozco, a player with 3 goals, 3 assists. She's been all over the pitch tonight for Santa Clara. Just hasn't been able to put the edge away and use her body to get opportunities in and around the 6.
There she is now, trying to cut her way in and shield off the ball, but lost it.
Watch as Gonzaga, they are dropping so many numbers defensively. They continue to play in that structure in these last 4 minutes. Santa Clara getting frustrated, playing that ball over the top. Instead, just recycle the play and switch the point of attack.
Next up for Santa Clara, home game against San Diego. 3 to play. 3 more minutes to get through to end 16 years of dominance. 12 wins, 2 draws, 1 game canceled due to COVID in that span between these 2 teams. Heavy collision between teammates, so the play will continue. Free kick for Gonzaga. That'll help them a bit here. Take some more time off the clock. No rush to get this back into play. Taken through by Runji. Back for Nicholas. 19 shots to 8 for Santa Clara. 7 on target to 5. The only goal, Chelsea Lee, 40th minute on a penalty. 90 seconds to play here at Luger Field. Nifty move to the end line by Rigg. Still Rigg now just taking it toward the corner. Trying to milk the clock for a Santa Clara throw. Cannot even imagine what it'll feel like when that whistle blows if this score line remains the same. A Gonzaga team that has been knocking on the door for 7 years under Chris Watkins. All those double-digit win seasons, more than they had as a program before he got here. And maybe on the precipice of their first ever WCC title and a second trip in program history to the NCAA tournament. If they can hold on. Under a minute to play. Lofted ahead. Settled down by Crosby and booted to safety by Corder. In behind, looking for Bourgeois. She'll get there, turning to the end line, and it was over the line. Out for a goal kick, and it's starting to look like this Gonzaga team is going to do it.
Town being so smart, being patient, doesn't have to kick the ball right away. Gonzaga still has to be smart in these final few seconds defensively.
Out for a throw, no rush to take it. Clock will wind down, countdown is well underway, and for the first time since 2007, Gonzaga has slain the beast that is Santa Clara. Now tied for first in the WCC, and a crown is there for the taking for the Bulldogs.
Gonzaga played a complete game, allowed Santa Clara to live on the ball in the first 30 minutes of this match. Defensively played very strong, and then when it came into transition and their opportunities to shine, Gonzaga finally put this game away. Well done by the Bulldogs, and it feels even better when you're on your own home turf.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. An upset complete for Gonzaga. My broadcast partner, Anna Whitty, and the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malpa saying so long from Spokane. The season Ole Miss volleyball is next. It's Gonzaga 1, Santa Clara 0. For the first time in 16 years, it's the Bulldogs over the Broncos.